friends. Hope you're doing well. So, I have some big news that you could probably just guess based off the title of the video. But I got engaged. So, I'm somebody's fiance now. I tricked one. Tricked one good. Got her good. She didn't even see it coming. So yeah. Yeah. Me and the special lady, we've been dating for, well, okay, so we met in 2018, and then we dated for, we were just hanging out for a little bit, and then we kind of started, like, officially dating, like, a nebulous amount of time after that. And then, we were, like, officially boyfriend, girlfriend for a while, and then we broke up for 6 months, something like that. But the whole time we were broken up, we were still, like, talking a lot and, texting most days. So then we eventually got back together, and then we've been dating since then. So that would have been like 2021 that we got back together. So yeah, 3 years. It's 5 years with the blip. Sure, we'll go with that. So yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you about it. Okay, story time. Boom. So the first date that we had after we broke up, this date where we got back together. So I guess it probably wasn't the first date because I don't know. This terminology is confusing. But like the first time we were like back together, we went to, there is this place in Omaha called Loretton Gardens. It's a very big botanical garden, and she was just having like a really rough day, a really rough week, really, just like stuff at home, stuff with friends, stuff with work, and I was like, tell you what, call in sick to work, like come over to my place, and we will go have a picnic, and we will go to the Loretton Gardens, which I think at that point we hadn't done yet, together anyway. Like I'd been there, and obviously she loved the place, so she'd been there several times. So we blow off, we go get some food, and we eat a little picnic on the tailgate of my SUV, and then we went inside and we walked around, and I was like, just turn your phone off, like we're on an island today, like we're just on island time, nothing, we have nothing to do, nowhere to be, like let's just hang out and vibe, and that's what we did, and so we called it an island day. It was the first time we did that. And as we're walking through the gardens, there is a herb garden. It has like bricks. It has like a brick path, and there's memorial bricks. You can buy a brick and you can write whatever you want on it. It's 3 lines of 13 characters. Just so you know, it's very tough to get something that concise, because that includes 13 characters, including spaces and punctuation. So anyway, she pointed out this one brick from like 2004 that she loved is a proposal, and then there's a brick right under it that's like, accepting the proposal, and I think it was like an anniversary brick, and it's just a neat little thing. And so I filed that away of like, okay, if I propose to this girl, that's how I'm gonna do it. And so we just went, and I think that might have been the day we like officially like we're like, are we gonna give this another try? Like, are we officially gonna be, boyfriend, girlfriend again? And then I was like, yeah, let's do it. Okay. So fast forward 3 years. I know I want to do it, and I kind of knew I wanted to do it. Like last year, I was talking to some people, and I was, spitballing like ways to do it. And I was like, the brick kept coming up. I had a couple other thoughts, but the brick kept coming into mind. So I was like, okay, let's do the brick thing. And I was like, okay, I'll do it, in the summer sometime. And yeah, it'll be fine. And so go find the ring, get the ring, order the ring. You gotta wait till I have the ring first. And then I gotta ask Dad's permission, and I gotta get this brick. So I start making some phone calls, getting information about the bricks, and I find out they only put the bricks in like 1 time a year. And I was like, okay, fuck. That's really hard to time, because it's just like, yeah, we just gotta put the bricks in like whenever the grounds crew has time. It's usually just once a year. They kind of just do it over a weekend. And I'm like, cool. Can I pay you to do it just one brick. And they're like, why? And I was like, well, I propose my girlfriend, tell the whole story. And they're like, oh, that's super cute. Yeah, we could do that. We can make that work. I think. That's what he says. I think. And I'm like, okay. He's like, okay, well, the brick guy is in town, so we can get the bricks made, no problem. I was like, okay, that's cool. So I pay the fee, whatever, and do that. And then, so the other side of that is the timing of it had to be very specific because the Gardens have a concert series, and the fiancée and her mother decided this year they were going to go to the concert series, and they were going to go to every single one of them, and these things happen every 2 weeks. And talking to the brick guy, they're like, we don't, it's kind of like when the ground crew can do it, because the ground crew obviously has other stuff to do. It's a garden. Like, they don't have all the time in the world to just put a brick in on an exact time of day. So it's like, okay, well, I gotta wait then for them to leave, because I don't want her to find out about it, beforehand. I don't want to ruin the surprise. So they went on a family trip to a family reunion, and they went to visit Grandpa for 2 weeks, and I was like, that's my window, let's do it. So waited, boom, 2 weeks happened, pull the trigger on the brick. I'm like, get it made, get it in. And I'm gonna propose to her the day she comes back. I'm like, this is perfect. And then she tells me they're coming back a day early, and I'm like, fuck, okay, this is no big deal. We can still get, I message again. I'm like, hey, it's a day earlier. Is that a big deal? And he's like, it probably will be fine. No promises. And I was like, fuck. And so then the day we could do it would be the Sunday. And then I find out that the reason they're coming back early is to attend a wedding on that Sunday. And I'm like, fuck, like that is kind of rude. You don't want to like steal someone's thunder. But then I'm like feeling around. I'm like, how well do you know this person? And they're like, oh, not very. Like, we were kids, like friends as kids, but like it's a family friend, not a big deal. I'm like, cool, okay, wedding, the proposal's still on. So then she gets home from the trip, the family road trip, and we're loading my car. I'm packing up her stuff. She's like going in to get stuff, and then I grab her dad. I'm like, real quick, just so you know, I have made some arrangements to propose to your daughter, and the only thing I'm missing is your blessing. And he looks at me square in my fucking face, and he goes, how do you propose to get that, son? And I was like, she's gonna come out that fucking door. You say yes or no right this fucking second. And he was just fucking with me, obviously. He's like, yes, yeah, And so she walks out, and so her dad's there, her mom's there, and her siblings there, and they're all just like, we're all just like real excited. They're just like, yeah, this is great. And she walks out the door, and we all stop like a bunch of fucking raccoons that had just gotten caught in a dumpster. We're just like, and they're like, she's like, what are you guys talking about? I was like, a new car, because I just got a new car. Oh, so I got a new car. This is a whole other story for another day. Anyway, I don't know if I mentioned that. Probably got a new car. Anyway, it's not a new car, it's a new used car, but I don't have that kind of money for a new car. Anyway, so yeah, she buys that somehow and pulls it off. So next day comes, I call, parents on the phone, because I was like, okay, I wanted to ask in person, but then like I'm sure they're gonna want to talk about stuff. So she goes to get her haircut, and I talk on the phone to them about stuff, things, plans, and it actually went really smoothly compared to when we moved in together. We had this like come to Jesus talk, and it was traumatizing. Me and her have both repressed it, because it was like a 3-hour long talk, and like her dad cried, and it was weird, and it's very just over the top, and I was just like, oh boy, that's what's gonna happen again, which is why I kind of wanted to spring it on him and be like, surprise, yes or no. But they called them, and they were super stoked, and it was all good. Probably because we are correcting the sin of living together, not married. Anyway, so yeah, that goes off without a hitch. And next day comes around, and I was like, hey, like I'm taking off work Sunday morning, at my like part-time church thing. I was like, why don't you call out of work too? She's like, oh, I gotta call out of work for the wedding. I was like, oh, perfect. I was like, let's just get breakfast, and like, let's go to the Gardens. It'll be great. And she said, I don't know if I'm feeling, I kind of just want to stay home and hang out with you. And I was like, bitch. You better, I was like, oh, okay, well, let's play it by ear. Let's just see how we're feeling. And so the day comes, I was like, yeah, let's just go get breakfast and let's just, we'll see how it goes. We'll play it by ear. So go to like our favorite breakfast spot. We get breakfast. It's great. And before we leave, though, she's like, should I wear a dress today? Or should I just wear these sweatpants? And I was like, oh, it's gonna be hot. Maybe you should wear the dress. It'll be cooler. And she's like, oh yeah, that's fine. And in my head, I was like, this bitch knows. Like, she knows. That's why she agreed to go today. And so we get breakfast, we go off to the gardens. And as we're walking around, it is it's not that hot because it's still like the morning. It ended up getting way hotter that day. I think it got over 100 degrees. But the humidity was like 80%. So she's having a rough time because she's on some new meds that like do not react well with heat. So it's like, oh, that's awesome. So even though she's in a dress, its ventilation's not getting up there. She's having a bad time, and we didn't bring any water, so it just kind of raw dogging it there. And there's nowhere. Once you're in the middle of the gardens, it's like a 2-mile loop. It's like once you're in the middle of the gardens, there's really no option. They don't have plumbing out there and stuff, which is weird. They should. Gardens, water them, something. I don't know. They should have a bottle fill station somewhere. That's all I'm saying. So maybe if I get flush with cash, I'll donate a bottle fill station somewhere. Anyway, so we're getting, and she's just like, I gotta sit down, and she's like having a bad time, and she's like, I might pass out, like, and I was like, oh no, like let's just chill here for a little bit, and we are like, either like they have like exhibits basically. It's it's a botanical garden, and so like we're like 2 away from it, and I'm like, we're so fucking close. Like maybe she doesn't know, and so we get there. We get to the one exhibit that's right before it. It's like this Japanese like Mount Fuji recreation thing, and we sit, and it's actually a really nice, good cross breeze because it's kind of out in the open. And I was like, oh good, like let's sit here for a little bit. There's some shade, there's some good cross breeze going. Like we'll cool down, it'll be great. And then she did, thankfully, cool down pretty good. And I was like, yeah, let's go look for your favorite brick, and then we'll head on home. And she's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I like those bricks. And so we go, and she gets to her bricks, and the bricks that she likes so much. And she's just, doing the, oh, I love this, so cute, and da-da-da. And, I was like, have you ever, like, really looked at any of the rest of these other bricks? And she's like, no, not really. I just always come and find this one again. And I was like, yeah, but that's on this side. Like, have you ever looked at the other side? And she's like, no, not really. I was like, let's just go look on the way out. Let's just go look around. And so we're walking, and I know where the fucking brick is. So I walk her, and I specifically got it on the opposite side, so that way I could, lead her to it sneakily, because I'm sneaky like that. I'm much sneakier than a person my size. I'm like 6'5", 260 pounds. Like, I have no business being sneaky at all, but somehow I pull it off. So anyway, we walk, it's like a looping path. And so, we're walking, and I'm just like, and I'm like just like a step ahead of her. And then I spot the brick, because I know where it is, roughly. I hadn't seen it before then. And it's like oriented like just perfectly, and like there's no other bricks around it, really, that have inscriptions on them, so it's perfect. And I was like, oh, look at that one. I was like, that's kind of weird, huh? And she turns and she looks at it, and she like does that for a second. It's like, oh, which I later found out is because, so the brick says Ashcat, which is her nickname, Island Days Forever, in reference to the first Island Day we had them at Lords of Gardens. And she later told me that she thought that it was a coincidence that somebody else had the same nickname as her for a second. And then as she turned to tell me that fact of like, somebody else has the same nickname, that's weird, I was already on one knee, and she just went, yes, and like, waterworks. So if you the thumbnail picture, you look, her eyes are all bloodshot because she's been just crying the whole time. And she was so, just the surprised look on her face. And then it was like a millisecond where to be like, yes. And I was like, I got Ash, like, not even her full name out, like not even her full first name out. And, she blurted it out, and I was like, okay, well, I got to ask the actual question, like, and I pulled the ring out, I had the ring out. passed down the knee. It was all good. Big old waterworks. And then we went and sat down over, in the shade, and we called the parents, and then we went home. And it was a good old time. Then we went to her childhood friend's wedding or whatever, and people congratulated us, and it's a good time. So, yeah, that's the story. And it worked out well. And yeah, so now we gotta plan a wedding, which, interestingly enough, as somebody who has photographed like 200 weddings, I've got a lot of opinions, and she doesn't really have any. So I'm gonna be a fucking groomzilla because I have standards. The ASMR bully's getting married, and motherfucker, he's got standards, and we're gonna have a good wedding. We actually have it like half planned already. Like we don't have, we talked to parents, and her parents are weird, and they're just like, you broach the subject of a budget, and her parents are like, well, our financial contributions will be directly, like, related to how involved we are in the planning. And then my parents are just like, whatever you need. I'm like, fuck, okay, let's go with these two. Which is always funny. It's like, our parents are so different, and these situations keep happening in these sequences where, like, it's revealed how different our parents are. Like, her mom, like, will go over for dinner to their place, and her mom will be like, oh, by the way, you owe me like $40 for your share of the phone bill or whatever. And then we'll go to like my parents, and like my dad will slip me like $40, and then like on the way out my mom will slip me like $40, and then just like you like, go get some Christmas decorations, or like go take your girlfriend out somewhere. And it's just like, this cannot be any different. Very much of like, there is like, our wedding contributions will be, we gotta plan stuff. And my parents are just like, whatever you want, we get a blank check, bro, like whatever you want. And it's not like our parents are like in the same socioeconomic class, so it's not just like my parents are like well off or anything. Like, we're both upper middle class. It's not like we have infinite money, so it's nothing like that. But I think that probably helped that, we talked about our wedding plans, and it's like, we want like 40 people at like this restaurant that we like, and we talked to the restaurant, they're on board with it. They haven't had a wedding there, but they're like, we've actually been wanting to do a wedding, so I was like, let's do it. And then we're gonna do it next fall, because there's a lot of people that have to travel for us. Even though it's only 40 people, there's like 5 people that have to make the travel. So I feel like we want the fall wedding. So for us to be like, it's already mid-August, like, what are you doing in 2 months? What are you doing? Like, can you get here? Like, that seems a little biffy. So we're like, okay, give them a full year to plan their travel arrangements or whatever. And also, not for nothing, but Halloween next year is on a Friday, so we might get married on Halloween. We haven't nailed that down yet, but the rough picture we're thinking is like, we have a ceremony at the restaurant, 40, 50 people, then we have dinner with those 40, 50 people. After dinner, there is just an open reception where we can invite all the extra people that, like, we don't really care if they come or not. That way we still get gifts, what's up? And then also, we can do the big family celebration, because just my side, my aunt, uncle, cousin, and their kids, just that side, just my mom's side of the family alone is, no joke, like 45 people. And I'm like, that's already more people than I want at the fucking wedding at all. And, girlfriend agrees, neither of us really like being the center of attention. As much as I can put on the mask for the internet, this is not at all. I get how celebrities would be like, I could be on stage and play a character, but then as soon as I get off, please don't talk to me. Like, I have trouble, probably because I'm autistic, but well, whatever. Autism, yeah, probably. I don't know. Never been officially diagnosed, but all the internet quizzes I take, and also I play Warhammer, which I think you just are bone stock autistic if you play Warhammer. So it goes. Anyway, yeah. So that'll probably be the plan. We'll see what happens as it develops. We have a whole year to plan it. All she really wants is a pretty dress, and yeah, I don't really have a lot of expectations, but I want it to not suck. So I feel like I could pull that off. Anyway, that's the story. That's the whole. So yeah, I'm engaged. I'm somebody's fiance. Tricked one. Yeah, that's all I got. So I hope you're doing well. I hope your life is tracking in that direction that you want it to go, that you're manifesting and you're grabbing it by the fucking horns. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Punching